What's up, guys? I'm John
This is Ben.
from Blackstone Cherry.
You're watching Berlin Music TV.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Berlin Music TV. Once again, we went down to the beloved Tempelhof Airport, right across the street, actually. And tonight we got a special pleasure, a special treat to sit together here with John and Ben from Blackstone Cherry. So welcome to Germany, fellas.
Thanks for having us here.
Glad to be here.
All right, so last night it was Munich.
Yes.
And then the Berlin fan community could already hear you on the radio this afternoon.
That's right.
Hence, I guess we're not the first interviewers today.
No, we had to get up like 1, something like that, so early in the morning.
It's not early, but it's early if you went to bed at 7 a.m. So
Which was more like 8.
this is more like 8 a.m. What time you went to bed?
Anyway, Munich is basically touching the southern border of Germany,
Right.
and Berlin isn't right across the street. But still,
Yeah.
I guess you ain't got the ability to stretch the day up to 36 hours.
Yeah. Last night was a lot of fun. We sold the small room out in advance, and then they moved it up to the big room, the 1,200 seat room there, and then it sold out. So we have no complaints as far as that goes. Tonight we're here in Berlin, and we hope to sell this sucker out and have a good rock show tonight.
All right, that sounds really good. Anyway, first headlining tour back in Europe.
Yep.
How's it going so far?
It's been awesome. Every show we've done so far has been sold out. We started here in Germany, actually, for Rock Antenna. It was a private show for them. And then we went on to Paris.
In Austria, Switzerland, and then now we've got 4 shows total in Germany, 2 left after tonight, and then on to the UK. So it's been really, really good. The crowd's been awesome. I think we've got a great set list. We got some cool new merchandise, you know. So everything's going really good.
How long did it take to get to Berlin?
I don't know.
I think we left at 3 last
We
night.
left it. We were supposed to leave at 3. That was the deal. We left like at 5-ish.
Oh, that's right.
And
That's right.
then we got here.
Our driver slept in.
I'm not sure what time we got here. I was just woken up.
Yeah, I was laying in my bunk, zombified, just passed out.
All right. So anyway, Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea was the last album released in May 2011.
Yes.
Is it majorly defining the setlist for tonight, or is the first headlining tour going to be a big mashup of all your albums?
We always try to get like an equal mix, you know? Like if we're going to play 5 songs off the new record, we try to play 5 off the second and 5 off the first, you know? We try to keep everything pretty even because not only are we promoting the new record, but we also have to please the fans that we've had all this time that, you know, love the first album, love the second album. So, you know, and not to mention, you know, you got new fans that fall in love with the new album. They might not have heard the first couple of records. So, you know, we want to introduce them to that so, you know, they can understand what we've always been, you know, what the legacy has been, how we started and how we got to where we're at.
So you agree that it's not necessarily always the last album that marks out the current status of the creativity of a band?
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, your first album is like the defining record, like here we are, you know, it's the initial, you know, boot through the door, you know, come out sideways kind of thing, which, I mean, every band in the world has their entire lives to write that first record, and then they've got like 10 minutes to write their second album, and typically it continues on like that, but the third record we took pretty much a little over a year off to write and record and everything and get the third record, you know, really over the top. We really wanted to, we had to focus on American radio, but at the same time we wanted to make sure we were maintaining our roots and our kind of like rock and roll rebel kind of feeling to maintain the core audience that we developed in Europe. So it was kind of a difficult thing to balance. But ultimately when you're doing a set, the most recent record isn't always the most important thing. It's very important, but you really have to make sure that you're playing all those songs that were fan favorites from any records you've had prior to that, because you have to always play those songs and keep those fans pleased. Because if not, if you went to go see any band in the world that's your favorite band, and there's like one particular song is your favorite song, they didn't play it that night, you're gonna be pissed off. it's that simple. So we always try to play those songs that the fans really love, and always make our set enjoyable.
All right, talking about the whole bunch of albums, you know, it could be read in various reviews that obviously the second album, Folklore and Superstition, deals a lot of with storytelling, telling tales whatsoever, and concerning the lyrics, it seems like the latest album deals a lot with, you know, personal relationships, experiences to some extent, I guess. Does it all come from some sort of natural force, or is there a certain concept behind every album before it's being recorded and written?
There's not really a concept before we go into it. I think mainly we just write songs that we can relate to at that time, or that we can see other people around us, you know, going through, and we just try and write songs about that. Mainly, we just want songs to connect with people, you know. We want to be cool and interesting and tell stories, but we don't want to get so over people's heads where, you know, we can't really, like, hit somebody at home or something, you know what I mean, with some lyrics. And I think this album has really done that, because it's got lots of songs on there that allow people to listen to them and say, wow, they must have wrote that song about me, or me and my dad, or me and my mom, or me and my girlfriend, me and my husband, whatever it is. Or maybe just, you know, one of our fun songs, they said, man, that song's about White Trash Millionaire. So they wrote that about me, you know. We just wanted to write songs that people could relate to and connect with. And I think that that was our main focus for this album. But with the over 50 songs we wrote, we had relationship songs, serious songs, storytelling songs. So it was just, at the end of the day, which ones are the best and which ones can make it on the album.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Some of the lyrics from the latest album were indeed really touching. Luckily enough, I was pleased to find, you know, contradicting songs like Blame It on the Boom Boom or something.
Right.
Anyway, what I was wondering about, you know, the aspect about you guys' music that especially draws me to Black Stone Cherry is that sort of percussive guitar riffing. I'm thinking about classic songs like Lonely Train or Such a Shame from the latest album. Who's mainly responsible for that?
It's really all of us. We're really all, you know, we're all into those kind of riffs, you know what I mean? So, you know, we're all responsible for bringing those types of riffs to the table, or turning a boring riff into a cool riff like Lonely Train or Such a Shame. So we always try and at least have several songs like that on the album that, you know, appease those metalhead fans and the people that listen to us for the guitar riffs. Because without those, we would just be a little more ordinary, you know. So really, it's all four of us. All four of us write all the music, all the riffs. You know, somebody might come in with a drum part that doesn't play drums, or vice versa. That's just the way. That's just the way we do things.
So instead of regarding some, you know, typical sort of creative processing where everybody just contributes his instrumental part to the song, you would say it's more
everybody's stuff. Everybody's pitching in because, you know, we're all on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
We tell each other what to play all the time.
All right. Anyway, so let's see. I mean, still talking about the more metalish aspects of your music, there's still some really strong ballads. Is there someone in the band who's like more doing the metal department and someone who's more the balladier?
Again, not really, because one day we'll have metal going through our heads, or hard rock, and then the next day we're all on the same page with wanting to write, you know, sappy love songs, because we love both sides of the fence there. It's not necessarily one person, you know, because once we start working on a song like that, we all four have to be interested in it, or we won't. We're not gonna force it on the other person to make them like a certain song that we're writing. So we all have to be in that mindset, you know.
On former interviews, you said that it took about 1 year to write and also record. Can you mark out the exact time being in the studio? Because I mean, obviously it changed over the last couple of years. I mean, studio times became shorter, more effective due to rising costs or whatever.
33 days.
Yeah.
All right.
In the studio.
We went out there.
We took off Christmas because we started in early December. Took Christmas off and flew back home for a week.
Yeah, roughly.
Right around a week, and we flew back first part of January and finished up the record.
Mm-hmm. So the latest live reviews have been really good, actually.
Good.
Can we expect a live album soon?
You know, a live album or DVD is something we would love to do. We've had so many people ask us about it.
Or both.
Yeah, it's definitely not being talked about, but it's not. Excuse me, it's not in the foreseeable future right now, just because there's so much stuff going on with different tourings and different shows and stuff like that. But once we find the right show, I think the right venue, I think we'll try and put a DVD together, because it's something we really do want to do.
Yeah, I bet that would, could make a big highlight in the band's history. It's been more than 10 years now since the band was officially been found. I mean, I think the genuine image that Blackstone Cherry still draws is due to the fact that it still is the same cast as it used to be in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. Is there still any changes that you can mark out within the inner band's relation? Or is it still feeling somehow like doing jam sessions back in 2000, 2001?
Well, for instance, like we were just jamming on a song up there a minute ago that we had no idea about before we went on the stage. It's always, we always try and jam on different stuff, especially during the set. We'll do a lot of blues jamming and stuff like that, So yeah, all that stuff still goes on, We try not to make it so routine. We try and spice it up and throw some curveballs to everybody every once in a while.
That's really good to hear, because just a while ago we actually met some colleagues of yours when we had the chance to get to talk to Seether. Mm-hmm. And asking them about their current label, they didn't leave too much of a green leaf on that discussion. How's it going with Roadrunner Records? How's the teamwork there?
Roadrunner, there's good and bad labels, and there's good things and bad things about every label. But Roadrunner, honestly, has stood behind us, and they've supported us, especially over in Europe. So every band can moan and cry about their record label, and yeah, it's just part of the business. But you got to remember, you signed up for it, and all you can do is just find ways to make it work while you're in the record deal, And fortunately, we've made some really, really good friends that work at our record company, so it makes it a lot easier when dealing with them, because we know them on a personal level, not just a professional level.
The thing is, there's so many record companies out there that have their contracts, and that's just how it is. Tough if you don't like it. The good thing about Roadrunner in particular is I'm fairly certain they're pretty much the only record label that's like this. If the contract isn't working, they're willing to work to make it better, to make it work for both sides. They're not quite so one-sided. Just like with any record label, there are those people that are like, no, I'm out for number one, but there's so many of them that are genuine, that work at the record label in America and in Europe. It makes it a lot easier when you have people there that are willing to do whatever they have to do to make things work for not only the label but for the band as well, so the longevity can actually happen. Because it's so easy for a band to come out, release a record, and it not fly, not sell, 500,000 copies or whatever, and the label say, okay, it's a write-off, you're done, go home. Mm-hmm. But Roadrunner's not like that. Our first record, we did 100 and some odd thousand copies, and they were like, okay, let's build it, let's go to the next level. Let's always try to do better and keep growing and all that. And they've honestly, we've had our differences for sure, just like any band's gonna have a record label, but I would much rather be on Roadrunner than a lot of the other majors that are out there that would just drop the axe and say, go home.
Yeah. All right, one more thing that especially fascinated me while researching the interview. Obviously over the last couple of years, there's a huge pile of bands that you've been actually touring with, almost longing from A to Z. Like, last time we were here in Berlin was while supporting Alter Bridge.
Right.
And then you also had, huge bands like Whitesnake or whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Putting up cooperations on live concert, is that the moment where it totally comes down to business, or is there some personal interest of the band behind it?
A lot of it's business, but at the same time, we're just such big fans of music, and so many different bands and artists. Like especially going out with Alter Bridge. We not only were fans of their band, but after we got to really meet them and hang out with them and all that, we became friends. And not just like friends like, oh, it's nice to see you, you haven't seen you in 6 months. We're like friends like Brian Marshall drunk text me. It's awesome. They're really great guys. They're so humble, it's ridiculous. I mean, Def Leppard was the same way. I mean, a band like Def Leppard, you wouldn't imagine to sit in the catering room with all the, the staff and the opening band and all that. But like I remember the first day I walked into catering, the entire band was sitting in there, and they were like, "Hey, come on, guys, come over, sit down with us, eat, hang out, whatever." I mean, Rick Allen would hold doors back so we would get a longer sound check to make sure we sounded right. He'd stand next to our front of house guy and tell him, "Man, you need to turn the kick drum up, get the snare, right down the middle, make sure the guitars are rocking, all that." I mean, they were all about helping us and doing anything they could to, to make it happen and make us sound great. And they'd hold doors back and they'd hold the whole show back so the room would fill up more before we went on. And just great people. Whitesnake was awesome too. Nickelback. I mean, hell, Nickelback bought us a Xbox 360 at the end of the tour as a thank you for coming out and doing the tour with us. And we're Xbox nuts, so that was definitely a good thing for us. We've been really fortunate in a lot of the bands we've toured with. We really haven't come across any total assholes or anything. Everybody we've toured with, we've gotten along with pretty fairly well. If we haven't become best friends, we're at least very good acquaintances where we could hang out at a bar or something if we saw them.
I think it's a good thing to leave the fan community with those fine last insights on touring.
Cool.
Thanks for taking some time for Berlin Music TV.
Absolutely, thank you.
And then you guys have a great show tonight and a nice tour.
Thank you very much.